Hi, welcome back for another My Lyric Book video, and today I'm going to be talking about your feet, or rather what you press with them, because at some point, once your lyrics don't fit all on the screen at once, or you're working with multi-page PDFs, you're going to need to sort of have some way of turning the pages or scrolling, and the best way to do that is with your feet. Some other apps have auto scroll features which terrify me. As a musician, nothing scares me more than the prospect of glancing away from the page, looking back, and not the page not being where it was, or I'm playing a piece and the page turn. I need that page to turn within that half a second, otherwise, it's not going to work for me. It needs to be absolutely synced, and the way we do that is with foot pedals. Once you've done this, there's no going back. I remember the first time I played a theatre show, music on the iPad, foot pedals. Suddenly, I'm playing bass, and I don't have to frantically swipe, go grabbing to try and turn a sheet of paper, and I'm worried about it falling off. And I was like, the first time I did it, I was like, is this the right way to go? And then I was like, within 10 minutes, it was like, I am never going back to playing a show, off the book. I wanted it on a PDF, even on that was before the iPad Pro, so I was still running on a small screen. Being able to turn the pages with your feet, if you're reading a big chunk of manuscript or in a long song, is groundbreaking. So the first people working in this space were Airturn. And Airturn, this is an Airturn BT105, which I've had for about 15 years. And Airturn make a whole bunch of different pedals. They've added some new features, but basically, the new ones are more flexible, but they basically do what this one does. Here you can see, the Duo 500 is an awful lot like, it looks an awful lot like the one we've got. They do 2-pedal versions, 4-pedal versions, different kind of switches, mechanical switches. You can see, they start from about $100. They work absolutely fine. They're good pedals. If you've got one of the new ones, the trick is you need to make sure it's in mode 2. Okay, so the app's going to respond to up arrow, down arrow, left arrow, and right arrow. So that's the default mode for the old BT105s. If you've got one of the new BT500s or one of their new fancier Bluetooth ones, you need to set it into mode 2. Instructions are in their manual, which is on their website. Another great pedal I used for a long time was the Page Flip. So they used to have the Page Flip Cicada, which kind of looked exactly like this, and it was another great pedal. The main difference between the two, between the BT105 and Cicada, was that the Cicada takes two AA or AAA batteries, whereas the Airturn recharges over USB. I actually prefer the Cicada because recharging is great, but at a gig, oh dear, I've got a problem, quick, change the batteries out, guess what, my problem is fixed, is a lot less stressful than excuse me while I put my pedal back on charge. That was personal preference. If you're organized, keeping it charged. I also found the Cicada slightly easier in terms of user interface. The BT105, everything kind of operates through this one switch on the back. As you can see, the Cicada ones have got a few switches. Other than that, there's not a lot to choose. Not a lot to choose between them. I slightly prefer the Cicada, but they both do the same job. They both got very similar pedals. The pedals are both plastic. they're both made of plastic, and they're both pretty quiet. You know, if I put my ear right up, you might be able to hear a little click, but they're, you know, they're great pedals. But again, these are, you know, starting around the $80–90 mark. My current pedal of choice is this, the Envy of Chocolate. What do I like about the Envy of Chocolate? It's metal. It's got big, solid, chunky buttons. These are, you know, these are guitar stomp buttons. They're a bit noisy. If you're playing in a string quartet, you might want something. You might not want to. But if you're playing in a rock band, these are what you're used to. It's really compact. It'll go on your pedal board. It's got 4 buttons, and you can add an external controller. It will actually generate hardware MIDI out of that if you need it. It does everything the other ones do. And what I really like about it is that on Amazon it's $50. On AliExpress, if AliExpress is your thing, AliExpress is great. Loads of bargains to be had. On AliExpress, it's $30. For $30, come on, $30. Even if you've got one of the other ones, just get one of these as well. So I'm going to be using this for the demo, and I've currently got it paired up over Bluetooth. So the first thing we need to do is just make sure, go into settings, Bluetooth, you can see foot controller not connected. If I turn it on, I get a little blue flashy light, that'll go solid, and we're connected. That's it, we're in business. We have this display, it says N1, it stops blinking. I've got the display does nothing useful. One of those quirks of, you know, obscure AliExpress buys is that they have sometimes weird features. No, you know, for our purposes, this display is all it's going to tell us is, you know, blue LED blinking. We're connecting. Yeah. Once the LED is solid, we're connected. So once you've got it paired, there's an app called Cube Suite, which is a bit odd. But basically, it says, hey, look, you can click scan your devices. It'll find your device if it's not already connected. You get your flip switch, and we can change this. So here we can see we can use keyboard. The mode we need is keyboard A. We set it to keyboard B. It generates a different set of keyboards. If we set it, we can tell it to send program changes. All we need is keyboard A. As long as it's on keyboard A, we're good to go. So once that's connected up in keyboard A mode, all we need to do is just press buttons A and B, and we can scroll forwards and backwards through our songs. Now, these two buttons by default are set up to play music and start the metronome. So this one, we can see we'll fire up the metronome. If I press this, the third one, it will bring up the iTunes library and allow you to pair a song, and then once you've selected it, it will play it. We talked about that in the previous video. So these are the defaults for pedals 1, 2, 3, and 4. Depending on your pedal, air turn, they might appear in a different order. On an air turn, that's pedal 1, that's pedal 3, because that's how they numbered them and so the way they've done their 2 pedals and their 4 pedal versions is a bit weird, but That's how it works. But we can have, in practice, we probably don't want that. That's the default. And it's not the default I want. Okay, it's not what I would choose. It's a good general default to say, hey, look, you can do stuff with pedals. Get you started using pedals. But when we go in, we're going to want to make a few more changes. So if we go down to my lyric book, we see it says external pedals. And we select external pedals. And we see we've got our 4 pedals, and we see pedal 1 is back. Pedal 1, pedal 3 is forwards. Pedal 2 is play audio. Pedal 4 is toggle metronome. They're ordered differently on here. So if you just select a pedal, say pedal 1, by default it goes back. And we can select it to do a whole bunch of things. Now, and some of these are slightly confusing. So we've got, let's start with pedal 3. So pedal 3 is currently set to forwards. We've also got, in addition to forwards, we've got down, we've got scroll down and next song. Forwards simply means move me forwards through my gig. So it will either scroll down, turn a page, or go to the next song. So, so as I'm playing through my song, I get to the end of my song, I press the pedal again, it goes on to the next song. Now, that's okay, but it did cause me some problems. Because if I have a multi-page, because when I go to previous song, it takes me to the beginning of the song. So if you accidentally go past the end of the song and then try and go back, it will take you back to the beginning of the song, if that makes sense. It's not what you want. So although this is visual, instead of using forwards, I generally prefer scroll down. Scroll down will scroll you through your document, or if it's PDF, it will turn your pages within your document, but it will not go past the end of the document. So scroll down will never take you to the next song, because I never want that. Even with a 2-pedal system, I would use scroll up and scroll down. And if I want the next song, I can reach out and actually swipe it on the iPad. So I want my, instead of scroll, so my back pedal, I want it to be scroll up. Okay, so now my pedals can only move me within the song. They can't move me to the next song. They can't move me to the previous song, because that's bad. I potentially do want to be able to change to the next song using the pedals. So if I do that, I will choose, select next song. Next song. So my pedal 4 is going to go to next song. My remaining pedal, pedal 2, what could we use it for? Well, we could go to the previous song. I don't do that very often. Send song select is for networking. So if you remember from the last video, we had a button we could press on the screen that would broadcast our song selection, our currently viewed song, to all the other iPads in the room. I can trigger that from a pedal. Yeah, that might be useful, but that's not how I have my live gig set up. So I'm not going to do that. Notes will display the notes at the top. Again, something you might want. Toggle metronome, play audio we've seen. Exit up, quits it and takes you back to your song list. Again, I don't use that. And in fact, what I found was, in Wave, one downside, 4 pedals, brilliant, but they're fraction close together. I've got fat feet, so when I started hitting, if I tried to hit a pedal, there was always a worry I was going to hit the one next to it as well. So in fact, I just disabled this one. So now if I go to my song, pedal 2, scrolls me forwards, but no matter how far over, I won't leave the song. And if I simply pedal 1, it'll scroll me back, so I can just flip between these two pages. Pedal 3 does nothing because I don't want to stand on it by accident. Pedal 4 takes me to my next song. So I can go through my songs, and that's my preferred pedal setup on this particular device. So that's how we use pedals with my Elec Book. Okay, catch you next time.